We're here for you.
Glad you're with us today, friends. I'm Jonathan Martinez. Right now, we are under a red flag warning along with the burn ban. A fire on the northeast side had crews rushing to put it out before it got any worse. That fire started around 11:30 this morning. With the recent border inspection related trucking delays, some of you may be wondering when or if prices will drop again. It was going to be volunteers. It was going to be the fire department. And they told us for them specifically, they're going to be focusing on a particular 8-mile stretch. And within that 8-mile stretch that they're focusing on, they're telling us that these piles of debris, in some cases 20 to 30 feet high, and they tell us within those piles of debris are vehicles, are RVs, you name it, it is in there. Unfortunately, that is part of the reason they are out there. They are still trying to find those 161 people who are missing in this immediate area. Well, tonight lawmakers are at odds over the government shutdown, and SNAP benefits are set to run out pretty soon. That's because funding for SNAP will expire in just 3 days. And we are continuing our coverage of the Texas Hill Country flooding disaster now 1 week later. Tonight, we know 96 people have been killed. Currently, 161 remain missing. In all across Texas, 120 have been killed. Due at 5 o'clock, the trial for 3 former San Antonio police officers continues to heat up. They're facing charges in the 2023 shooting death of a San Antonio woman. News 4 San Antonio's Taylor Wardenby joins us live from the Content Center with the very latest on this one. Taylor, still having problems getting the electronic components they need to build their products, and today a new initiative was announced. In fact, we've been here since the very beginning, and we have heard a lot of stories of survival and seen a lot of images of destruction. Here's a little snippet of what it is that we've seen so far. Well, developing right now, police are investigating a shooting on the west side that left a man in critical condition. It happened at a home around 4 o'clock this afternoon along Rawhide Lane. The Lieutenant Governor there mentioning they do have the best of the best. We can tell you that between 400 to 500 right now, boots are on the ground, and that's going to be rescue crews. That's going to be search and rescue teams, not just from the state level, but you're talking federal. You've got folks here from all over. And as we've said before, anytime we see devastation like this, it's not just that one community that's impacted. It's all of us. It may be an hour to 2 hours away, but they are our neighbors. And because of that, we are offering help and assistance. And that's why you see so many different agencies descending there in that area that's been impacted, because they're working round the clock to save as many people as they can. But today, the city receiving the results of a study looking into the factors that contributed to all of that flooding. News 4 San Antonio's Karina Hollingsworth joins us now with a look at the factors and the recommendations. Karina. The judge has voided the mask mandate covering public transportation, saying the mandate exceeds the authority of U.S. health officials. The Florida judge says the CDC improperly failed to justify its decision and did not follow proper rulemaking. This right here is exclusive video from Sky 4 showing all of that smoke and flames. Nearly 100 firefighters were on the scene working to contain that fire as a precaution because of the high winds. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jonathan Martinez. That fire first broke out just before 11:30 this morning on Webbles Drive at the Apple Moving Company. That's going to be near 410 in Walsham, and that is where we find News 4 San Antonio's meteorologist Joe DiCarlo. He joins us live with more on what exactly caught fire and that increased fire danger because of the weather. Hey, Joe. All right, Joe, thank you for that. Let's go ahead and bring in Chief Meteorologist Chris Suchan. And Chris, talk to us about the high winds and the impact for that fire danger. Last week, we have been seeing stories of folks who had rescued folks, and you know, it's been eye-opening to get those accounts there on Riverfront Road in Kerrville specifically, where one home was wiped off of its foundation, another slamming into another. We had heard stories from folks there who had the same story, had woken up in the middle of the night to screams, others seeing flashes of lights. In one instance, they were able to grab onto another. Sadly, some of their other neighbors didn't make it. Yeah, guys, in a much different scene compared to earlier this afternoon. In fact, if you take a look over my shoulder, you can see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. There are trucks now lined up here at the FAR Reynosa International Bridge. Of course, that was not the scene out here for much of the day in the last couple of days, despite the fact that this is one of the busiest ports of entry. That, of course, the result of truck drivers protesting on the opposite side, on the Mexico side, as it created a blockade. They were upset with some of the stepped-up inspections by Governor Greg Abbott. As a result, that created a bottleneck that lasted for several hours. We can tell you within just the last hour, it does appear as if trucks are finally now starting to come from the Mexico side here into the United States. They're going to be on the opposite side of all of these trucks where DPS is set up with that inspection site. We're hoping to catch up with some of those truck drivers. Again, as far as we know, they've been stuck on that side for several hours, but they are finally starting to come through. We're planning to talk with them and perhaps some of these drivers that are making their way finally back to Mexico. Some of them telling us they've had to spend extra days and extra nights here, running out of food, really no plan at all, and didn't have any idea of when this port was actually going to reopen. That is the very latest. We're reporting from FAR, Texas. I'm John Jonathan Martinez, News 4 San Antonio.
All of a sudden, they're becoming my closest friends, and they keep saying, "You got any medals? You got any medals?" And I gave out the last of my medals, but I'm asking my colleagues, my coworkers over here, we're going to get a couple of more medals, but take a look behind me. How awesome is that sight right there? How's it going, everybody? They're excited about it. It's an incredible shot just to look all the way down there at all the food booths and all the people that are starting to file in here. Things got started at about 5:30. They're going to go all the way to 10:30, and it is so much fun out here. This is just night one of a 4-day festival, and man, it is great to be back. Look at all the colors and all the fun out here. Leanne, we're coming to talk to you. How's it going tonight?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Talk to us about NIOSA and being back and all the stuff you got here. What's it like?
It's awesome. Last year was pretty good. We were just getting back into it, but I feel like this year we're feeling our
vibe.
We're feeling it. It's fiesta time.
It is fiesta time.
Yeah.
Talk to us about your creations here. They look beautiful.
Well, we work weekends for about a month before. We decorate all these hats.
Wow. Okay.
And
they're beautiful.
and it's great. It's great therapy.
And it gets you into the spirit.
Absolutely. My house usually looks like Fiesta threw a minute for that whole month. Yeah.
Right? All right, we'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. We'll come back out and we'll try some of those hats on in just a little bit. Leanne, thank you for I need a hat. I got a cascaron a little bit, and you can still see some of the confetti in there. Oh, and that was like on cue. All right. Now we're ready for Fiesta. Simone, we'll go ahead and send it back over to you.
Hey, it's always fun with the confetti. Right now, your Fiesta official.
As we come on the air tonight, breaking news out of Washington. The Senate voting to end the 41-day government shutdown. Thanks for joining us, friends. I'm Jonathan Martinez. In the meantime, we are working to find out why specifically the crews have pulled up to this particular area. We don't know if perhaps that's because one of the other search and rescue teams out here, recovery teams, said that they needed to be out here. We're going to try to work to find out that. But again, this is a scene of many of the scenes up and down the Guadalupe River that are taking place all the while as the president meets with state and local leaders here in our area. Another big weather story that we're following for you tonight. Hurricane Melissa leaving dozens of people dead and major destruction across Cuba, Jamaica, even Haiti. In Montego Bay, you can see a glimpse of all the damage left behind. Trees shredded, hotels ripped apart there. At least 29 people have died in the Caribbean, including 8 in Jamaica alone. The Federal Reserve cutting interest rates again, what it means for your wallet. Plus, shrinking waistlines, they're on the rise. Part of the big reason health experts say the obesity rate has significantly dropped compared to years past. And taking a look at the county's health, what the new data shows, and how the county plans to use it. Well, the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates by another 1/4 percentage point today. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says even though the inflation rate hasn't fallen to where they'd like it to be, they still went with a cut because of how much slower the job market is. All right, we'll be watching. Mel, thank you for that. For your health tonight, obesity rates are on the decline thanks to injectable weight loss treatments. A new Gallup poll showing the obesity rate among adults in the U.S. dropped to 37% this year. That's down from 39.5% compared to 3 years ago. It'd be a nice day to do that, but not super early in the morning because it was frigid. It was frigid this morning.
Oh,
but
it was frigid.
It was very frigid, but it warmed up a little bit. Once the sun
the afternoon delightful.
Yeah.
The mornings, that's where we are. The mornings are going to be on the colder side, but in the afternoons, just chamber of commerce.
Been under a red flag warning all day, and the combination of bone dry air and gusty winds is putting everyone on high alert tonight. News for San Antonio meteorologist Joe DiCarlo is live at today's scene with the latest on the fire danger. Hey, Joe. More about the security incident over at Warren High School. Administrators say it happened Monday just after 11 a.m. Told a teen girl who was not a student entered the main doors saying she wanted to register. Staff quickly notified campus leaders and NISD police who stopped her as she tried to leave. We can tell you out here right now as we set the scene, we've heard tractor trailers, we've heard chainsaws going as volunteers are still on the ground, as they have been now since day one of this disaster exactly 1 week ago today. We had talked earlier, the Lieutenant Governor had mentioned he's sure that there are a lot of anxious parents out there waiting to see their loved ones, waiting to embrace them once more. We had seen some of the images of those choppers landing and bringing some of those campers, but those right there are some of the first images that we're seeing of some of those campers arriving by way of bus, being reunited with their loved ones, and that, of course, is what we want to see. We do know, as mentioned, there's 750 kids that go to that camp, Camp Mystic in particular, of which sadly 23 are still unaccounted for. But as we see these reunifications or these reunions, it does bring some sense of relief for folks out there right now.